Well, here's an update on the F350 project, and it looks a lot the same that it has for the past several videos. However, we got the core support in, and that's been in for a while, and I've just been working on some miscellaneous things. I've actually been pretty busy, so this project I just haven't made as much progress as I would like. But I haven't heard it run in a while, so I put the inner fender skirts in here just kind of temporarily. In order to really button all this back up, I really need the fenders, and of course I don't have those until I paint all my sheet metal. So I did throw the batteries in, and like I said, the inner skirts are there, so at least everything is kind of temporarily put together, so at least I can run the truck. I did get new shocks for the front. That's something new since the last video. And so I've got oil in my differential, and I noticed I've got a little bit of leak here on this side, so I'm guessing that I've got a seal on this side, on the driver's side axle, that's probably going to need to be replaced at some point in the future, but I'll worry about that another time. And while I'm there, I'll probably end up maybe putting in new ball joints, even though these, again, have low miles on them, so there's not a lot of play in them at all. But that'll be something that may need to be addressed here after the truck is drivable. But again, I put the batteries in. I'm just going to start it up and listen to her purr just a little bit, and then I'll show you what I'm going to work on next. So while I'm going to get in here and start the truck, I thought I'd give just a quick overview of what's happening inside the cab. I stripped out the interior a few weeks ago, and it made it really easy working on the body bushings since I had a lot of room here. There's the washer and the bolt from the top side for the body bushings that I installed in a previous video. And inside is fairly clean. There is some surface rust. I do have a couple holes that I will patch, and then also this the rail that holds the weather strip across the front here. I did pull that out since that was pretty rotten, and I've got a little piece of angle here that I'm going to weld in place once I get to that point. But I need to get the exterior progressing a little bit faster here, but the cab will need to be addressed before the outside of the cab is painted. So I'm going to be getting to this very soon. So there's a look. This is the worst side. The passenger side is a lot better, but again, just a lot of surface rust, a couple patches needed, and then this should be ready to prime and paint, but still a lot of work to do. So now I'm going to go ahead and start the truck. Like a kitten, and again, this is the best thing about this truck, and so I'm probably going to show this multiple times, but there is the original mileage, 38,177. Alright, so what are we going to work on today? Well, I've got a few exhaust pieces that I ordered, and this piece of pipe is just a straight 4-inch piece of aluminized steel pipe, and this is the 3-inch to 4-inch transition or adapter. I was mistaken. I thought the piece that I had on the stock exhaust was 3 to 4. It's actually 3 to 3.5, so I wanted to go to 4-inch just to make it a little bit bigger, and so that's what that piece is for. And then I've got a 45-degree elbow, and that is a 5-inch. What I'm going to do is mock this up just a little bit on the side of the truck and show you what I'm thinking in terms of my exhaust pattern, and then I'm going to get the welder out and see if I can get this done tonight. In a previous video I showed my downpipe installation, and so I haven't done anything since then, and there's that transition piece that I was talking about that's got the flange on it from 3-inch, but it goes to 3.5-inch. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the flange end, but I'm going to cut it off and weld that to my 4-inch to 3-inch transition piece. So I took my elbow and just clamped it to the inside of the frame with a clamp here, just so I could mock up what my exhaust is going to look like, kind of see what I'm attempting to do. So this truck's going to get a flatbed. It's a 97-inch wide flatbed, so it is wide. So I do need to extend this exhaust as far as I can to the outside, or at least I can because I've got the room. It's kind of hard to visualize because I don't have my duals on right now. I do have a little bit bigger tire as well as a 2-inch spacer on the back, but my goal is to have a side dump exhaust come straight out of the downpipe with that 4-inch piece that I showed before, go into my elbow, and then have the tip extend to the side here at an angle, and then dump the exhaust right kind of on the outside of the outside tire. I don't want to blow it right on the tire. So this is my idea. I know that exhaust is a preference, and some people are going to look at that and say that's the stupidest idea I've ever seen. Some people are going to say, yeah, I like it. It's something I can do with my welder. It's simple. There's simple pieces involved, instead of going up and over the axle and then dumping out the rear end. And I do like a side exhaust. I had an 02 Chevy where I had a side exhaust, and I really I liked the look of that. So I'm going to look this over a little bit more, and then I will get the chop saw out as well as the welder, and I will see if I can weld this up yet tonight and get this installed on the truck. Well, I've got my welder out again and my chop saw, and after looking things over, I kind of landed on an angle of about what I'm showing here. So that 4-inch piece will just go up and get welded onto or clamped to my 4 to 3 adapter, and then the adapter will get welded to the flange, which will get bolted up to the downpipe. And so I'm going to go with about an angle like this. So what I'm going to do is cut my my elbow as well as the straight piece of pipe at what looks to be about maybe a 15-degree angle on each side, and then I will weld those two halves together. All right, there's my two cuts, and that's where I will weld. Well, the side that people will see is actually pretty smooth. The outside got a little bit ugly, but it's all welded, it's all continuous, and it's a nice solid weld. So that's done. Now I'm going to put this up on the truck and size it up, and I'll cut my pipe off, and the next thing I will put on my adapter. So here's the original flange that goes against the downpipe, and then this side had a 3.5-inch transition, which I have cut off because I'm instead going to use my 3-inch to 4-inch adapter. So the next step is to weld these two pieces together. So there is the transition welded to the flange, all one piece now. I'm going to bolt this up to the truck, up to the downpipe, and then I can cut my straight pipe to fit. So there's the piece of straight pipe that's been cut to length with the welded elbow. And on the underside, you can see the flange with adapter is installed on that end, and it's just hanging there loose. So I will install the straight pipe into the adapter, and we'll see what it looks like. So there's the pipe under the truck. I just put it on a jack stand and a block of wood so I can get some final adjustments. But you can see it's got a slight drop from the front of the truck to the rear, and it goes underneath the frame. I'm going to have to fabricate a hanger back here on this back corner. And then the tip has a lot of adjustment. It can go in or out several inches. based on where I want the final placement. And I just put this little plank of wood on top of the frame here, just so I could kind of see where the outside of that flatbed is going to be. Right now it's kind of hard to visualize without the flatbed and without the duals on the back to see just exactly what that's going to look like. Here's a view from the top. You can see it has just a little bit of an angle from the front to the rear. It angles out, but it's got plenty of room around the frame components, and I think it turned out pretty nice. So love it, hate it. These pieces, this was pretty simple for me to do. It's a piece of straight pipe, an elbow, and a tip, and then I'll fabricate a bracket on the back for a hanger. But this is something that I was able to mock up, weld up in about an hour. So again, an easy project for me to do. No pipe bending, no specialty pieces, and I was able to repurpose some of the parts from the original exhaust, basically the flange on the front. And so now I'm going to probably tie it up with some wire just for now, and I'm going to weld this straight pipe into my transition since I have the final placement, and then I will bolt it up and I'll run the truck and see how it sounds. Well, everything is installed now. There's my bolted on flange, the down pipe going up to the turbo, transition, 4-inch pipe. There's the straight pipe elbow. I just tied it up with a little baling wire right now, and there's the end. I did take my tip off. I'll install that, and then I'm going to start the truck up and see how it sounds.